Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The muhaddith of the Sahaabah Radhiallaahu Anhum was without doubt Hadhrat Abu Hurayrah Radhiallaahu Anhu, as he is the number one narrator of ahadith. None of the other Sahaabah Radhiallaahu Anhum have reported as much ahadith as Hadhrat Abu Hurayrah Radhiallaahu Anhu. His real name was Abdurrahman ibn Sakhr ad-Dawsi, from the tribe of Daws. When Hadhrat Tufail ibn Amr radiyallahu anhu returned to his tribe, he was from the tribe of Daws, and he came to inform them about Islam. Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu was first amongst them to accept Islam. And so on the next occasion he came with Hadhrat Tufail radiyallahu anhu and others to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina, and being destitute, he took up residence in the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He became from the Ahlus Sufa. The Ahlus Sufa were a group of Sahaba radiyallahu anhum who were poor and destitute with no money or homes or families, and so they would stay in the masjid and learn from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu was very special, because even though he spent a short time with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he memorized and transmitted more ahadith than anyone else. And Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu was very beloved to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had given him a title and used the existing title for him as well, Abu Hurairah. Meaning literally the father of the kitten. And the reason behind this nickname is because Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu used to have a kitten that he would play with. And the title that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to him as, a special one, was Abu Hir, which is the same thing, just a male cat and a female cat. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called him Abu Hir, while others would have called him Abu Hurairah. So therefore Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu used to say that he even preferred the title of Abu Hir over Abu Hurairah, even though Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called him both, but because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had personally given him this title of Abu Hir. Some people are surprised at the fact that Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu could have reported so many ahadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the reality is that this was due to the miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On one occasion, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was speaking in the masjid and said that he amongst you who spreads out his cloak and listens to my talk, and thereafter he gathers it and presses it against his chest, he will not forget anything he heard from me. Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he explains that he was present when this was said by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so he had done it. He laid out his shawl, and when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was done, he folded it up and he pressed it against his chest. And from that day onwards, he did not forget a single thing ever said by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the exceptional memory of Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu is actually one of the miracles of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hence, to doubt him and his memory is actually to doubt Allah and his Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had lived longer, then Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu would have reported even more ahadith than what he has presently narrated to us. Some of the Tabi'een had asked Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, how come he has such a large number of ahadith that he narrates? So Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he explained that being destitute meant that he was free from all distractions, so he spent his entire day, every day, with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had no wife or children. He had no business or job to see to. Well, these were things that most of the other Sahaba radiyallahu anhum had. They would go out in the mornings to work, or they would be with their wives in the evening. Sometimes they would be by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam part of the day and stuff like this here, because they had other places they had to be with their wives, because everything had to be given its right. So they would be sometime with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and sometimes in their jobs, sometimes with their family, and so on. But he did not have any of that. So whenever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say anything, then he was there to hear it, to memorize it, and then be able to transmit it to others later as well. Thanks to this dua and this, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had made this dua, that whoever is present here and he does this, he will never forget anything. Plus, at another occasion, Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he had made this dua, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had said Ameen to it. When he had made the dua saying that I make dua that Allah gives me such knowledge which I never forget. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said Ameen to that dua. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said Ameen to this dua, it cemented it permanently that never will Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu have any knowledge and ever forget it again. So this memory of Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu was not something natural from his own side, that he just happened to have a good memory like many of the other Sahaba radiyallahu anhum had good memories, but rather this was something special from the side of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam making dua for him. The one and only family member that Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu had was his mother. She hadn't accepted Islam as of yet, and he would constantly give her da'wah to get her to accept Islam, but she kept on refusing, until one day she said certain bad words about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he left her and he was crying, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam met him and asked him why he was crying. He explained about his mother and how he wishes that she becomes a Muslim, and so he gives her da'wah, but she had said these words, so make dua that Allah guides her. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam at that moment made dua that Allah guides her to Islam. And so Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu left for his mother's house to give her the glad tidings of what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had made this dua. And Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he mentions that by the time he reached his mother's house, he heard the sound of water, and his mother heard him approaching the door and told him, wait a moment. She finished up inside and came out and recited the Shahada, accepting Islam. She had just accepted Islam right now and taken a ghusl immediately after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had made the dua. Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu was overjoyed, and he began to cry out of happiness this time, while just a short while ago he was crying out of sadness. So he rushed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and informed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah had accepted the dua, that his mother had now accepted Islam. But it didn't end there. Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu now asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to make dua that Allah places the love for the Muslims in his heart and the heart of his mother, and to place love for them in the hearts of the Muslims. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Nabi of Allah, the one whose du'as are readily accepted, made this dua for him, and Allah accepted this dua as well. Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he mentioned that Allah has not created a believer who heard of him or saw him or his mother, but that instinctively and immediately they had this love for them. So this was the result of the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and we know this to be the undoubted reality for over 1400 years. Thus it becomes crystal clear to see that loving Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu is actually a sign that one has iman, because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam made this dua that though all those people of Iman should have love for Hadhrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. Just like on the flip side of the coin, it is a sign that the one who dislikes him, the one who casts aspersions on him, is actually far removed from the deen of Allah, even if he stands on his head and claims to be a Muslim until the cows come home. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.